outside counsel. I think Mitch Berger of Berger Singerman is here. And I think you get to actually occupy the city attorney's seat.
Wow.
This is new. I got to say, I haven't seen this one before.
I can take the,
Well, you could, but I think
okay.
that's where advice comes.
Yeah, you're not gonna pay the that's me. It's the one black girl, it's the one ugly one too. Falls over there.
Yeah, but this is it. This is your time to shine. First, on behalf of the city of Miami, I want to thank you for undertaking the job that you've undertaken, and have done so pro bono for Berger Singerman to the city of Miami. Do you want to do a slight presentation or some sort of? Pick up your mic.
Push the mic too.
Button. Yeah,
There you go.
look, it's an honor to do some public service. You all do it. The citizens of Miami should be thankful that you do it. You know, public service is no good deed goes unpunished. And I certainly understand that. So it's an honor for us to do a little bit to help out. You know, the question that you've asked is, may the city pay for legal fees for the defense of the mayor related to a civil lawsuit filed against him, and may the city pay for the mayor's legal defense as requested on an ongoing basis. While originally I did not think we were going to do a memo, we did a memo. The memo is pretty straightforward. I think most of you probably knew the answers, but we're seeking some guidance. You, of course, given the allegations in this lawsuit, this is the Spence Jones lawsuit versus Regalado and others, given the allegations in the lawsuit concerning the capacity in which the mayor that it makes allegations that the mayor acted in his official capacity, you can pay for these fees if you want to pay for these fees. You don't have to pay for these fees in advance. The second question, may the city pay for the legal defenses requested on an ongoing basis? The answer is yes, you can, but you don't have to. This is a public policy determination. The allegation that triggers this is that the defendant, Thomas Regalado, is the mayor of the city of Miami, acting in the capacity of agent, servant, and employee of the city, and within the scope of his employment as such, he is being sued in his personal capacity. That's in paragraph 23 of the complaint. That the mayor acted under color of law, paragraph 620 of the complaint. These are allegations in the complaint that allow you to pay for the defense if you want to. Now, when must you pay for the defense? You must pay for the defense if the mayor wins. The statute is 11107. If the mayor wins, then you must pay for the defense. You don't have to pay on an ongoing basis. So it becomes a public, the hot potato goes back to you, right? There's no requirement.
We're used to that, by the way.
Oh, right. No good deed goes unpunished. So the hot potato goes back to you. Now, I've tried to give you some guidances as to, this is not my job, but, I don't, of public policy considerations. Each and every one of you, right, could be sued by anyone in the city making the allegations that has been made against the mayor. I know in my own personal experience, I sat on public boards. I've been sued in similar allegations that were made against your mayor, and our board was sued as a whole, and we decided to have our legal fees paid on an ongoing basis. That this is totally a public policy decision. Now, our recommendation is if you do make that decision, and we're not telling you to make that decision, that's your call, that you make findings as to why you find it to be in the public interest to do this on an ongoing basis. Because the statute, while it gives you the ability to pay for it on an ongoing basis if you choose to, the better practice, because there's no case law here, is to actually make public findings as to why you think it is in the public interest to pay for it on an ongoing basis. There are other options. Obviously, I help to run a law firm. You know, there are other options to be had here. Lawyers, you can select a lawyer and suggest it to the mayor, who might be willing to do this and wait to be paid at the end. The mayor's lawyer might be willing to wait and to get paid on it at the end. These are the, you know, I'm not going to tell you which are the better or the worse options. I'll be happy to discuss those with you if you have questions. You can, if you do choose to do this, it would be, given the nature of this type of proceeding, it would be beneficial for you to reserve the right to not pay at any time, because once you say you're going to pay for everything, then obviously you've just like the contract you just entered into to do the crash for the vehicles, you've said you're going to pay for everything. So you should reserve, like most of my clients do, the right to review the bills, right? And to decide not to pay in the future. Let's say there's a summary judgment and the mayor is found to have been not acting in his capacity, but the litigation is ongoing. You know, that even though summary judgments are preliminary in nature and not final in determination, you might at that point in time say that it is not in our interest or the citizens' interest to continue to pay for the defense. So these are things to consider. But the basic answer is yes, you can, if you choose to. You need to make public findings if you do choose to, and that's the answer. That's the legal answer. But I think I would be negligent in not suggesting to you that, like any other lawyer and any other obligation, you should condition those obligations with some wise controls if you choose to do it.
Let me do this. Let me see if the mayor's attorney, Mr. Quignon, is there, because maybe he can exactly define what it is he's seeking.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Berger and Mr. Fig. I thought their memorandum was very thorough, covered the whole area, not only of the law, but public policy that is involved in this matter. So I really thought it was very good. And I want to also commend the Commission for going through this process that leads us into today, where we have essentially canvassed the entire legal landscape as well as the public policy that is in the memorandum. I'm going to make this easy for the Commission because I really have known Mayor Regalado for some time, and I really believe in him and think that he's done nothing improper in this case. I think that Mr. Berger rightfully said that Mayor Regalado is entitled to get paid by law if he wins. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the case and I'm going to proceed to represent Mayor Regalado. And if he wins, by law, he's entitled to get for reasonable fees and costs. And we'll do it that way rather than put you in a kind of a, and the reason why we're doing it is because it puts you in a kind of a distasteful position of having to make a public finding, a finding of public purpose, when essentially you have two members of the same body going at each other. And that is kind of a difficult situation to be in, to make that kind of finding. Now, there's no question here that there are allegations right in the complaint that Mayor Regalado was acting within the scope of his employment, and that he was acting under color of law, and therefore, Mr. Berger rightfully said that that gives you the latitude to go ahead into the issue of payment of the attorney's fees. But then you have an issue that you're not entitled to get paid for those fees if you acted in bad faith or you had a malicious purpose. And so the problem is that you would have to make a public finding of public purpose at this point as to that issue. And rather than do that, what we're going to do is we're going to proceed representing the mayor, and at the end, if we win, we'll come back and it'll be a traditional case. And that way, at the end, we'll have essentially everything that was done, and we can parse out what was reasonable, what was not, and all that. And I think it makes it easier on the commission. It doesn't make it easier on me because as a lawyer, I'm running, an office, but I understand the uniqueness of this case. I understand that you all have an obligation to the citizens and the members of the community, and quite frankly, we want to be sensitive to that. Mayor Regalado wants to be sensitive to the members of the community, and he doesn't want to do anything at all that would impose a burden upon the citizens that they should not carry. So we're going to do it the right way. We're going to say, if we win, we'll be back. We believe we will be back, and at that time, we'll take it up. So if you have any questions of me, I'll be glad to answer at this time.
Yeah, Commissioner Suarez, you recognized for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to, before thanking Mr. Quignon, I'd like to thank Mr. Berger and his firm, Berger Singerman, and for producing, well, first of all, for their involvement, for stepping up to the plate when the city was seeking a top-notch attorney and firm to represent the city in what is, as Mr. Quignon said, a very rare circumstance. And it was handled in an eminently professional manner. I met with Mr. Berger more than one occasion. I joked with him once, how much would this have cost me if I was paying your fees? It was a lot of money. And I can only imagine how much the memo would have cost if we were paying for it. By the way, Madam Attorney, I think you're still around here. This is the standard set to writing a legal memo. I mean, this is unbelievable. Very comprehensive, very well done. And I agree with Mr. Quignon that, in essence, it sets forth, the standards very clearly. I also want to thank Mr. Quignon for stepping up to the plate as well. At the end of the day, it would have been a very difficult public policy decision for all of us because we are here to safeguard the financial interests of our residents. And I think, unfortunately for you, it kind of falls on your shoulders. But as Mr. Berger was saying, it's incumbent on the legal community in rare circumstances like this for them to step up. And so I commend you for stepping them up. To the extent that the mayor played a role in that, I commend him as well for urging you to do that. Because I think at the end of the day, it's what's in the best interest of the residents of the city of Miami. And that's what we're always striving for. And it would have been an uncomfortable, I think, position for all of us. You're right, it's two colleagues of ours. It's a rare circumstance. The city attorney has recused herself in essence. And so, I think, I think your gesture was one that is in the best interest of the public. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Anyone else? Commissioner Gordon.
Thank both. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. We're not done with you yet. I know you want to get back to billing,
All right?
He's got a bill.
but we're going to get a full hour out of you.
No, okay.
Can we at least get him back for a proclamation?
Right?
We need to give him something to thank
But I
him.
think he'll charge us for the proclamation. No way he's coming back for free.
We'll send it to you by mail, Mr. Berger.
Well, you know what Shakespeare said, right? About killing all the lawyers, right? But everyone forgets the other part of what Henry was saying, which was if you want to end civil liberty in England, the first thing you must do is kill all the lawyers. So everyone forgets the first
So we're a
part of it.
necessary evil, is what you're saying.
Right.
Commissioner Croy is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to thank Mr. Berger, Mr. Fig, your firm. I appreciate it. And also Mr. Quignon for stepping up to the plate. You know that realistically, we do the work here for the citizens, and you actually made the decision very easy now, so, thanks to all the parties.
So let me see if I understand this, Mr. Berger. We need to take really no action today, right?
There's no action that you need to take. Mr. Keown has made the decision easy for you. Obviously, he's going to be billing. It might be great for him to send you monthly redacted statements so you have an expectation of what's going to happen in the end. Mr. Sarnoff, I know, practices law as well. Client expectations, or in this case, it's not a client, but payment expectations are good to monitor. And other than that, I don't think you need to take any action right now.
Mr. Chairman?
You're recognized, Commissioner.
One thing I do want to mention with regards to reviewing the invoices, if our city attorney is conflicted out, do we need to hire someone, or could, Mr. Berger, would you be willing to review for reasonableness should the mayor win his case?
Well, look, the answer is, of course, in for a dime, in for a dollar, right? So I understand the question, and the answer is yes. But to be direct with you, I think the city attorney, might not be as conflicted as she might think she is, but I'm happy to do it. But this is, at the end of the day, she shouldn't be conflicted about reviewing, this type of bill. If he wins, you're going to have to pay.
Right. Mr. Chair, if I may?
You're recognized.
Yeah, I think, and if you want to say something on that matter, I would just say that,
All I was going to say on that is, part of the reason why I did it is so that we wouldn't have to parse billing throughout as we go along. At the end of the day, I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a very detailed billing, which we can then take up the issue whether it's reasonable or not. What I didn't want to do, part of the reason why I didn't want to do it on an ongoing basis when I thought about it is because, quite frankly, some of you may actually be witnesses in this lawsuit. And so it puts you, again, in another uncomfortable position of, it puts me in an uncomfortable position. How much information am I going to give you so that you can judge what is reasonable, knowing that you may be a witness and you may be acquiring information that may not even be within your knowledge at this point. So the way that I envision this is, at the very end, I come in, you'll have all the billing, and then at that time, we'll take up what is reasonable and what is not. And if you feel is not, we'll discuss it and we'll come
I think
to an
that's
agreement.
Perfectly
I think that's fine.
acceptable procedure, Mr.
and I
Honorable Commissioners. I think that's a perfectly reasonable way to do it.
it's fine.
Commissioner Boyd, you okay? All right, so I believe what we have to do is we have to withdraw RE 13. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
For the record, I do have a letter from Berger Singerman dated February 13, 2013, with the subject matter memorandum of law regarding Mayor Tomas Regalado's request for paid legal defense, submitting that into the record for item DI3.
Along with the memorandum.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes, sir.
Can I submit also an inquiry that I made to the Ethics Commission regarding voting on this matter? I don't think it's really necessary for me to read the whole entire letter into the record because we didn't really take any action formally on it, but I think it's important that it be preserved. And it's an email anyway, so it is already a public document. But if you don't mind, I'd like to put it in the record. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Berger, very much. Berger
Thank you.
Singerman, kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
I do a commercial for you, but that'd be proselytizing.
If I may,
Yes, you're recognized.
I think Commissioner Suarez, I think we also need to recognize Tom Scott and Scott Cole that provided some pro bono services for the city also. We'd like to thank him also.
I agree, and
So we do have a lot of good attorneys.
in my conversations with Mr. Berger, he mentioned that, it's in many cases, and I think Commissioner Carrillo's brother was one of those examples, you have attorneys that are willing to step up. And Mr. Berger was saying that, in the distinguished career of most attorneys, they're at one point or another going to be called to some sort of a service to do pro bono work, whether it be for the city, whether it be for someone or some other cause. So we definitely have to recognize and definitely I'll be thankful for those that do step up during those moments. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, so I think we now move to PH1. PH1. The HUD Annual Action Plan.